Welcome to the weekly channeled angel message. I'm going to channel and receive a message from the angels and share it with all of you. Let's see what they want to share with us this week. So the image that they're starting me out with is pulling a book off the shelf and sifting through it. And they're showing me the library image, like specific library that they show me that represents the Akashic Records. To me. They show me a very specific library setting for that. And the Akashic Records, if you don't know, is the energetic library database, hall of records that holds your soul's records. And everyone has records of their soul's journey over the different lives that they lived, things that have happened, lessons they've learned. There's a collective records as well. And we can learn a lot of information about ourselves from the Akashic Records. And the angels are showing me someone teaching, and they're kind of being funny about this. They want this message to actually be a lesson. They want to teach a lesson through me about the Akashic Records. So here we go. What do they want to share about this? Okay, so two angels are specifically stepping forward, Jeremiel and Metatron. They are associated with the records. I'm not saying there aren't other angels that are associated with the records, but those are the two that are stepping forward. And they want to do more of the teaching about the Akashic Records. So they're going to try to put it in concrete terms, but they're saying it's hard to quite understand because it's an abstract concept to us, because it's energy. But we have a hard time believing in what we can't see and what we don't have a human construct for. So let's see how they're going to walk us through. So what they're saying... and this is the first time some of this information might be coming through to me, so this is gonna be cool to see where they take us. They're saying, like, when a soul is born or a soul comes into being, not really sharing what that process is or how that happens. They're like, they have a lot of humor. The angels can, and they're showing it like a baby book. They're like, so when a human baby is born, you might have a baby book, and you have like memories, records of what has happened, like big events and different things you might take records of. And so in the beginning, when your soul is young, you are starting to record stuff, but your books are small. And then they're showing, like, as a baby grows, they're showing, like, kind of old school. You might have had photo albums. Now everything's stored electronically in our phones, but back in the day, like when I was a kid, there were physical photo albums, physical pictures, and that was to hold more memories and more records. And then they're saying that sometimes you might, as a person, might journal about your life. They're bringing up this summer that my parents wanted me and my brother to journal every day, just to practice, I guess, journaling. I don't know. And so I used to just write what I did that day. And so they're saying, like, we as a soul can also add to our records. So it's not like someone is sitting and recording all the things that happen. It's like different sources, right? And then ourselves. So like as a human self, I will think about it like this. Our caregivers, our parents might record stuff about ourselves, other loved ones. Ourselves, like I might record things about myself. But there's also just, like, how are they trying to explain this? Like, the recordings are just happening. Like, not necessarily like someone's always recording things. It's just kind of, like, taking place. Almost as if, like, they're like, saying, like, CCTV, kind of like this idea of, like, there are cameras all over the place in our world, in our human world. And, like, it's just taking in information. We might not be really thinking about it, but we're always kind of being recorded. And so they're saying, like, not in like a big brother kind of way, but it's just collecting information about our soul's journey. And then there's, like, really important parts of our journey that they might want to really record that are really important. Big life events in a life, a big lesson that has been learned. And sometimes they're talking about fan fiction. It's so interesting. Like, say there's a story that takes place and maybe there's a character in there, but maybe someone really likes that character and they want to kind of create their own story. They might create a story. Maybe a character's like a side character, but then someone creates some fan fiction about this character, and that character becomes its own main story of another story. But there's like crossover. Or they're showing, another example would be like, you've ever watched a TV show and then there's like a spin-off? So this idea that like we have our own records, and we might have other people in our lives and different lives that we've lived, like people that we've had relationships with, but each of those people are souls, right? And so they have their own records too, but our records might overlap. There might be shared experiences and shared stories and timelines and lessons that we learn, and soul contracts and agreements and things like that. So it's not like everyone's library is like separate in that way. Like there's overlap. Let's see what else they want to share. I think there maybe just one more thing, because it kind of is starting to feel like maybe this channel message is ending. They're saying there's just so much to share about the Akashic Records. This is just like tip of the iceberg, is what they're saying. Some of it is like you kind of have to experience it to understand how much depth of information there is. And like they're reminding it, like everyone can open their own records. Like I open other people's records and then do readings for them and share things about their life in this life and past lives and like other lives that they've lived and things like that. And I can open up two people's records at the same time, or multiple people's records, and look at their relationship as a soul and also in this life. But you don't need someone like me to always do that. You just have to learn how to do that. And you have to be connected to your own intuitive gifts and knowing, and connected to your own intuition and things like that to be able to do that. But there's so much that you can learn for yourself, and it's not a cheat sheet. They're not saying it's like if you've ever read a book and then there's what's the like, I'm blanking. They're showing me, it was like, I think it was like usually like yellow and black, but it was online. It's like those books that like tell you about the story. Like if you ever had to read a book for school but you didn't actually read it, and then you went and looked at the abridged version, or like here's the main points just to learn enough about the book to do the assignment. I'm blanking on that, but they're like showing me that. It's not like that. The Akashic Records aren't like that to like cheat your way through life. It's more like doing research on a project. You go to the library and you pick out different books and you find out information to then learn more about the project that you're working on, or to become better at something, or if you're learning a skill, to become better at the skill. It helps you enhance things and learn things to do things better, or just to be a little bit wiser, or to not always have to go through all the lessons in such a brutal way. It's supposed to be a helpful tool, but it's not a cheat sheet. Sometimes people do bring that up. So okay, that's what they wanted to share. It was a really long channeled message and very different. Just wanted to share information about the Akashic Records. So it's a little bit about that. If you have additional questions, feel free to let me know. I have information about what the Akashic Records are myself, but I can always see if I can check in with the angels and see if there's more that they want to share about it. And if you're interested in opening your Akashic Records and learning more about your soul's journey, feel free to reach out to me. That's part of the readings that I do for people. So much there to learn. It's pretty cool and very exciting.